And these are still in progress, right? I guess these are going to be on PTS.
Yeah, the
But the
whole time
PTS notes didn't come out, right? Like
feedback.
other stuff. That's still we're
No,
waiting on.
they'll be when the PTS comes.
Okay.
So there'll
Okay.
be other changes like class stuff, as usual.
10-4. All right. The first passive in every one doesn't really matter.
No.
So we're just going to kind of skip that spell recharge for the high elf. I remember high elf looks fierce, dude. So they restore stam or magicka depending which is higher after activating a class ability. This effect can occur every 6 seconds, reduce damage taken by 5 while channeling or casting. What's the difference between that anyway? Like, I get channel, like beam or jabs. Jabs counts as a channel, right? Or soul assault. But
Yeah.
what's casting?
Um.
Is that dark
So
deal?
like,
Is
yeah,
that
like Dark Deal or Channeled Acceleration,
mm,
stuff like that. I think it's
that's
just covering
just
all bases. They're
gotcha.
all really
Okay,
the same.
they're kind of the same. Okay, all right. So it's not bad. They didn't. What? Wait, what was the old one? The other one was magic recovery.
It was just regen, 10% regen. The old one.
So is that supposed to be more or less? Less, I
Uh,
imagine, right?
it just
You
depends
son of
on
a
if you built
bitch.
that way. So like in PvE, you
Right.
don't build that way. So
And
it
this is
was
what I
really
was
low.
wondering. Like, what was the target actually? If you can say and you know, was there a target? Was it like we're looking within mind of
So
no CP or current CP or future
uh, I think
projections?
I think the target was to add a theme to the classes to make them more of like an actual theme. Like a lot of them just had like
Right.
max down, this and that, as well as bring a lot of them closer together. They're much closer than they've ever been. Besides when there was no caps or
Right.
soft caps or whatever.
Right. Right.
So also, yeah, for example, if you didn't build into regen, you weren't making much of that actual regen.
Yeah, whereas you could invest fully in spell damage, for
You
example, be a
son of
glass
a
cannon,
bitch.
and really maximize your benefit from it.
Yeah. Whereas like Breton is the other scope. It's more like you can invest even more into all damage because you have such regen. So there's these little flip flops back and forth where
Right.
you can kind of build upon just the race alone and then build your gear on that.
Right. So I see something like that. That to me, like that seems to be more impactful too to the non CP area.
Right,
So
right,
I
yeah.
consider these in all those because right now, like CP staying in PVE for the foreseeable future, and even if it gets reworked, it's still there probably. But like, um, yeah, a lot of these things, especially the passive flats, are going to be more impactful in non CP overall. It's Fear Turbo,
Also,
expert player.
uh,
That's right. He's a
also
professional. Okay, go ahead.
it's just easier to balance the game without another like percent. So let's say you add like some crazy gear into it, and then
Yes,
you see
yes.
some unforeseen like bonuses to
It's that
Lizard
power
because they have
creep type
nine
shit.
percent health. Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
just easier. It's easier. More to manage. Cooler things can come out.
yeah, it is easier for them to manage and distinctly know what's going to be impacted and kind of say you're putting in these brand new sets or whatever, and you're building a new guy, and it's a year later, and CP's up. Things get out of control pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like 9% magic recovery, guys, for example, on something like the Lich set would be very impactful there. Whereas with this, completely different. So, okay. Gift of Magnus. Uh, so increase your max magic by 2k. That's a lot.
Hmm.
And what's the
Yep.
over under? I think I saw different people post and stuff, but overall, these are, if you min maxed, you're going to be a little lower now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little lower than before because if you built into a high pool,
Right.
you're just a little bit under that. But
You
we
son of
also
a
get the spell
bitch.
damage, which affects all damage and not just elemental, which is a huge bonus.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
big.
really, it makes up for it, and it scales. These are just not even scaled up. Like that scales a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And that's interesting. what was the reasoning on restore Magica or stamina based on which is higher when you get max Magica and only spell damage? It's kind of
Honestly, I'm
weird.
not too sure about that one, but
The one on the Dark Elf later, I kind of understood, or
so
different other ones, but that one seems
so
weird.
maybe the Dragon Disruptor, like you have more max stam, and then when you use a Dark Deal, you have a ton of magic regen, but you're gaining magic, like you're gaining stamina when you use Dark Deal on top of like gaining stamina from Dark Deal. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just maybe a little tricky. It probably won't see much play because people see it as a DPS class, but it has an option there, I guess. I'm not too sure, but maybe you're a high elf tank and you need max stam.
that's interesting.
That's
Yeah,
that's one way to
okay.
get stamina.
All right. Yeah, so they get extra spell damage and max Magica. And I'm pretty sure this is your best damage dealer option on the Magica side still, yeah.
It's really close to Khajiit, just depending on how you build,
Oh yeah, the crit.
and it's also close to other classes, but it etches out just a little bit. So like, someone did a comparison that showed Altmer to be a little bit better than Khajiit at number one, whereas like Breton was very high up there as well, but in the sustain department. So like if whichever one you value more and want to build towards or build off of.
Okay. And I guess these were tested what, PvE end game type stuff? Like dummy
Uh,
tests or what?
that was all Zoss on that
Oh,
end.
okay, so
So
we don't know. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Cool. All right. Argonian's an interesting one. I think this is a big part of the reason they wanted to redo races to begin with. These guys were pretty fierce. Let's look at the before after. So before they had resource gain, max Magica, and then here's the big one: the restore pot passive. It was a flat 4,600 health Magica stam when you drink a pot. Now it's just 1,000 max Magica, and it restores 3,600. Still flat
son of a bitch.
when you drink a potion. So they shaved off about 1,000 on each stat resource. Max Magica's probably going to be better. 1,000's probably better than 3%.
yeah, just depending on how you really built, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yep. Before they were like stat wise, they were almost two races.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean with the what with the
With the potion,
potion and then the healing one?
9% max health and like 3% magicka along with the healing done and received. It was really strong.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah. And that was the other one. 9% max health. The resistance is here. So this increases health to 1,000. And then disease resistance still. So they get 1,000 health and 1,000 magicka. They still get the pot passive shaved down a bit. And then quick to mend, which was 5% on healing done and 5% on healing received, is now just increase healing done by 4.
yeah, that took a hit. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one that really got hit, and I'd say the pot thing.
Another thing that goes unnoticed is the immune to disease status effect, which is actually really strong.
Yeah.
When fighting anything like night blades that can proc that defile on you. You're just immune to it now. So it kind of covers a little bit of the healing.
Mr. T saying Argonians got shit on in comparison. You guys have your volume turned almost all the way up. Hang on, I can boost it up a bit more. Okay, that should be a little better. I'll be a little louder too. If you can't disease them, does that mean they can't be defiled? They can be debuffed. You can't put disease on them.
Yeah, you can put the major, like you can put
like
the
if you hit them with a reverb,
buff.
they're gonna get major defiled.
Bitch.
But yeah,
They're not gonna get it
Argonians are
passively.
still really strong. I think so too. I see everyone was saying how badly these guys got slammed, and I don't see it up front. Like they still get 1,000 health and 1,000 magicka. In fact, those stats are a little better. The healing portion, that passive really took a hit, and that was pretty crazy. It was 5% healing done and received. It made these guys such fierce tanks in the way they could build and restore themselves constantly. But they still have the pot passive, which is still really good. Like, it's still really good. Mr. T says they are okay. All right, T. Still think it's pretty good. They're no longer Biss. All right. Well, I mean, I think we expected Argonian. I expected them to get hit more than this, actually. I kind of thought they would.